Morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. I'm Gil, and pinned beside me, we've got Stephen and Kuhn, and we're blockchain builders. We're an early stage fund that came out of Stanford's venture ecosystem. So our team runs Stanford's Blockchain Accelerator. We teach blockchain entrepreneurship in the engineering school, and we run the BAS event series, of which we'll be hosting another one on July 30th at Stanford University. Actually, let me throw in here a link to that as well. So if you are in the Stanford area, come join, it'll be fun. But basically, we help incubate and invest in ventures that leverage verifiable shared digital infrastructure. And we believed that this would underpin the finance industry. It's now quickly becoming the standard. We similarly believe that it'll underpin the AI sector, and we've been investing since the early days in its application for artificial intelligence and decentralized AI, I'd say since before it was cool. And that includes when Michael and the Zero-G team came in. So Michael and the Zero-G team were in the Stanford Accelerator's 4th cohort, and we really believed in their vision for a decentralized infrastructure layer for AI. And honestly, it's just been incredible seeing the protocol mature. And as we're excited to help drive forward the adoption of the Zero-G stack, we asked the Zero-G team if we could collaborate with them on an AI accelerator in partnership with Google and Privy, so we could showcase the Zero-G tech stack. So the Apollo Accelerator, which is this accelerator, is basically running a similar structure to one that we run at Stanford. We bring in thought leaders to share their perspectives. We have teams work with one-on-one with mentors, and we've recruited 10 incredibly impressive teams into the program. We're also excited to collaborate with a former classmate, Jason Scott, and his team, Marcus, Jason helped develop the Google for Startups program and has been amazing in running this program together with us. And we'd like to thank, of course, the various partners for their support of the program. So Google as one of the core partners here, Privy, as well as QuickNode, Certic, Octane, OpenAI, and Fenwick. And with that, I think you're going to be as impressed with the teams as I am. And I'll pass the mic on to Michael to say a few words about Zero-G and the accelerator as well.
Yeah, super excited to have this. And thanks to Kuhn, Stephen, and Gil for having us in batch 4. I still remember it really fondly. It feels like yesterday. But it's an absolute joy to now be on the other side and help frontier teams really build the best technology. And so they're also being quite humble. Actually, the acceptance rate into Apollo is pretty much the same as Stanford, at about 4%. And so we've been just blown away by the quality of these teams. And anything from like agentic neobanks to agentic verification and some really deep tech that's coming out of this. And we're super, super excited for you to meet all of these teams and then potentially invest into them as well. So that's very quickly about Apollo. And basically, the core concept was startups the Silicon Valley way, led by Stanford veterans. I'm a Stanford grad myself. We always have a fun kind of tug of war of where we hire from. Generally, it's been MIT and Stanford, and so far Stanford's still winning out. So very, very happy about that. So Apollo is really focused around that, and it's really part of a bigger ecosystem initiative. So we have a foundation fund as well that's 88.8 million. Apollo fits in with that, and we've had a number of successes already. For example, American Fortress, which should be TGing soon, is a kind of 20x return. We've got Infinity Ground, Carve, Bond, many others that have done really well. And now the Apollo cohort will kind of add to that as well. And that's really how we think about building ecosystems, really nurturing from the ground up. Next. And so let me tell you a little bit about Zero-G as a whole too, and why we exist, so you get a little bit of a flavor before you hear all these great companies. So Zero-G is building the trust layer for AI, which means that we can make AI private, verifiable, sovereign, and ultimately safe. And we do that without CapEx like the hyperscalers at up to a 95% lower cost, which is possible because of the decentralization open source models that we use. Next. And there's a large promise for AI, and much of AI can automate industries, but really the question is who owns the infrastructure underneath? Is it hyperscalers that are black box systems where you don't know where the data came from, who labeled the data, what is actually happening with the model? Nothing can be verified. You basically have to trust a particular entity to do that. And we think that's the wrong answer. And some of the safety researchers are very concerned about this because they think black box models are intrinsically unsafe, and that they should really be built in the open so that any nefarious kind of activity can be detected early in these models and then culled or aligned. Next. And the other thing that we've seen is that open source models are really already closing the gap with closed source models. GLM 5.2 recently has been absolutely stunning from a performance standpoint, pretty much getting towards Opus 4.8 levels with significantly lower cost to train. And so open source doesn't mean that you're not getting frontier performance. Next. And then what we've done is basically say, okay, there's all these components that exist. How do we create this entire trust layer? There's 3 layers to that. You've got, of course, the application layer, which has agents, ecosystem, operational type of components to it. Then you've got an agentic alignment layer. So we've written a number of research papers around how to align models correctly. So there's an alignment level layer. There's a model layer as well. We've built some of our own models that we've trained off of other open source models. We're building harnesses, we're building finance type of applications to then really create a way for these agents to become autonomous over time. And then underpinning all of that is an AI private cloud. And so you've got storage and compute, and you've got a blockchain, a layer 1 blockchain that's underpinning it, as well as some execution level things like sandbox, TE type of applications to actually make everything verifiable and so on. So it's a massive undertaking in and of itself. Next. And then it creates a value proposition that is fundamentally unique from a hyperscaler value proposition. And I've mentioned a bunch of these things as well, but you can kind of look at it again, and completely private. You don't have to trust any entity. We never see any of the data running through our system. It's going through TE. So you can be rest assured that we never use any of your data for training, for example. And there's many other benefits that I've already highlighted, including cost benefits as well. Next, please. And so we're one of the top teams in decentralized AI. So myself and Ming, who's been a Microsoft research veteran for 11 years, are 2 of the 4 co-founders. And we've got Arne, who I met at Stanford as well, used to be at General Atlantic, for example. Atush used to lead the Avalanche Foundation as the CEO. Alex used to work at the SEC and CFTC and Kirkland and Ellis, also a Stanford grad, and so on. So really proud of the team that we've built. Built many unicorns as part of this team, drove a lot of revenue together, and so on. Next slide. We're also one of the leading researchers in decentralized AI. We have a number of partnerships with some really great organizations like Microsoft and Alibaba, Stanford itself, NTT, Google, NTU. We have a full research center there. And we've already published 12 papers, 6 of which are in top AI conferences like ICML, and 6 are currently under review. And so very excited to really push the frontier consistently, whether it's on AI safety or decentralized compute, and so on. And yeah, Ida is reminding me we also have 2 female C-level leaders as well from a diversity perspective. Always good to mention that. And both of them happen to be from MIT, so maybe that's why I didn't mention that. Just joking. Next slide. And of course, to build this massive undertaking, we've had to raise a lot of capital. So we raised more than 350 million from top AI and blockchain investors like HackVC, like Blockchain Builders Fund, Bankless Ventures, and many, many others, Samsung Next, Foundation Capital, and so on. Next slide. So this is, for example, an example of one of the research papers is written. We can keep AI systems safe and verifiable through something that we call inference time alignment via sparse junction steering. What that means is we can look on a per token level if these tokens are kind of low probability tokens, which means they're high risk, and then steer them towards higher probability tokens. It's kind of akin to a parent seeing a child in the process of doing something incorrectly, like falling off a bike, and quickly steering them to something that's more safe and more aligned with the overall kind of value and system. Next slide. We were also one of the first to train a very large scale 107 billion parameter model, fully decentralized. This was a year ago. And we call that sovereign AI because you can rely on not just having one massive data center, but you can have many points and nodes within a kind of ecosystem that can then train models together, own models together, and open up new possibilities. Next slide. And so the conclusion is we believe there's going to be a future where AI is going to run logistics, manufacturing, healthcare, finance, government, really societal level applications. And it's not a question of whether it's going to happen. It's really a question of who will make that safe and who do you trust? And that's what Zero-G is building. Private, verifiable, yet transparent, and completely safe AI. And that's why we exist. And now I'm excited for all of you to start seeing some of the companies. So I'll hand it back over to, okay, fine. There was one more slide, which was a meme. It's always fun to have a meme from our community. So in case you've not seen the Avengers, you might know this scene. So always very fun. So thank you guys.
Awesome, thank you, Michael. And I think you guys will see that a lot of the teams are really tackling kind of these issues around trust, verifiability, guardrails, and the like. So the format we've got today is that each team is going to have a 5-minute pitch followed by 2 minutes Q&A. And you guys can kind of ask your questions in the chat there. And to begin with, we're going to start with BitMind. So like as AI generated content proliferates, the ability to know what's real and what's not is even more critical. And we've known the BitMind team for a while, and we're super stoked by their traction. So BitMind is building real-time deepfake detection platform. Ken, take it away.
Thanks for the intro, Gil. I will present. Okay, are we good? Everyone can see my screen? All right, nice. I'll get into it. Okay, hey everybody. I'm Ken Miyachi, the co-founder and CEO of BitMind. And I didn't see Michael's slides before this, I promise, but we are building the trust layer for automation, looking to build security and trust in digital media. We're backed by a variety of amazing VCs, including Blockchain Builders Fund. So just going over the team, this is our leadership team. We have experience both in AI and in Web3 from AWS, Poshmark, Near, Axelar, etc. So what is the problem we are trying to solve? The world is becoming more and more automated. Claim, KYC, payments, even agentic actions are happening on our behalf. And this is all based on the assumption that the input is real and correct. And currently, there is no trust layer for this. Almost all of these processes, these automated processes, are assuming what they're looking at is real and the input that they're getting is real. And to highlight the importance and the scale of this problem, the numbers are massive. Return fraud is the #1 type of fraud globally. It accounts for over $103 billion of losses per year. And what's interesting is that this is growing. Over 42% of Gen Z has admitted openly to doing this. And so this problem is only getting bigger. There's also 1.6 billion of direct deepfake scam losses. And this is actually growing 3,000% year over year with the proliferation of generative AI. And then another really interesting stat is that out of a survey conducted of companies with over 1,000 employees, over 41% said they either onboarded or interacted with a fraudulent candidate. So this problem is huge. It's costing real dollars and it's getting worse at a very fast scale. And so why now, right? Generative AI has been around for about 4 years, but really with more and more companies leading into automation, trying to become more fit, this problem is exposing a lot of different companies. And we decided to even conduct our own personal experiments where we interacted with Instacart, DoorDash, etc. And we basically said, this is a picture of some raspberries that were delivered to me. And I took a picture, used ChatGPT to say, hey, mess them up. And we got a return right away. This was a completely automated system. And I got the returns. And this fraud is happening to companies. And their infrastructure isn't able to catch it. And the realization here, which is very scary, is that AI has made fraud scalable. What you previously needed was a very sophisticated organization to conduct this level of fraud. But now you can just have an AI subscription and a phone, and you're able to do so. And that's why we're building this trust layer for automation, right? We think we can tackle insurance, identity verification, financial services, and then even robotics and fully autonomous systems. I think a lot of us believe and are excited about the enhancement and the next stage of embodied and physical AI. And if robots become ubiquitous throughout our homes, throughout our lives, it's going to be really important that the input that they're getting to make these autonomous decisions are correct and not manipulated. And so what we built is a service called Mind Security, and we're first tackling the insurance and claims pipeline. And so you can think about this as a wrapper around any decision engine, which takes in photos, videos, multimodal output, audio, PDF documents, text, etc. and we ensure that this information is real, correct, etc. And so why are we going after the insurance first? One, it's multimodal by default. They're taking in all this information which the technology we built is very well suited for. The second is that there's a direct money loss associated with it, which makes it very easy to sell and pitch to these folks that we can save them money. And then thirdly is that this process, all these companies are very aggressively trying to automate this process. I think previously insurance claims were done manually. You had a human looking it over, but everyone, as I mentioned before, is trying to get more fit, and these processes are being automated, but also exposing these companies to a lot of fraud exposure. And so where does zero-G fit in? We have some really exciting clients right now, one being the largest law firm in Africa that's a design partner called ENS. And what they really care about is actually explainability. And so we thought this was a really great use case to use blockchain technology and essentially immutable storage. And so if you can see here, our mine security engine has this intelligence, which is a classification of what type of, essentially analyzing the input that outputs a trust score. And then what we built is an on-chain attestation system that that essentially doesn't store any of the actual sensitive data that is going through the system, but stores an attestation of, hey, what was the inference? Where is the location of that data in either the enterprise storage or in BitMind storage, et cetera. And this can be used for insurance, KYC, agents and robotics, these really high impact use cases where you need explainability, you need to be able to prove what you said you were. The expansion of this goes beyond. We talked with the zero-G team, and we also think that eventually, right now, the attestation is a really great starting point, but eventually going to trustless execution environments and using the zero-G compute so that you actually know what model ran it and you can prove that verifiably on chain as well. And so how would this work? This is a basic schema of the data that we are writing to the chain, but essentially we receive some input, our engine scores it, our attestation is built, we sign and write it to the zero-G blockchain, and then this can be independently verified. This can be used in the court of law. This can be used in a variety of different use cases to prove that this inference actually occurred. And let's say you made a decision based on some of the output of the BitMind engine, you'd be able to verify that on the zero-G blockchain. And so we get asked often, how good are your models? How good is your system of classifying different data across images, video, audio, et cetera? We are going to release this research soon, but we did a survey of the top deepfake benchmarks over the past 4 years. And we ranked at the top of the 5 most cited benchmark papers that have been released in academia over the past 4 years. And this is across both image and video. So we have state-of-the-art performance, and we're really excited about just the fidelity and the accuracy of our models. And so other research that we're doing is something that we did over the past 6 months that really enhanced the accuracy of our systems was focusing on embedding models and representation learning. So I'm running a little over. So basically, we unify all these modalities in a single unified embedding space that outputs a trust score. And so our traction, we focus on consumer. We had 200,000 monthly active users. We have 5 enterprise customers, and we have a variety of cybersecurity design partners that we're working with as well. As I mentioned, the law firm, and we're working with a KYC company as well. And so our business model is that we are wedged into these companies, and this is what we've done at both the KYC and the law firm, is we do forward deployed engineering. We have our engineers go into the organization, work with their IT teams, work with them directly to try to embed our solutions into their pipelines. What this often leads to is custom models because they have very specific use cases, whether it be human faces, documents, et cetera. And then we expand, we sell a usage-based API and enterprise contracts. We have something really unique where we're built on BitTensor, so we're producing 150,000 a month from the network. We have about 10K through traditional MRR through traditional contracts, and our goal is to expand that to surpass our network revenue. And so finally, we have the SOTA detection models. We are producing a bunch of mine security pilots with our design partners and our first customers, and we would like to expand to e-commerce, insurance, robotics, etc. Thank you. I'll open it up for questions.
Awesome. We might have run over a little bit, so we might not have time for questions, but there are a couple questions that were in the Q&A, so maybe you can answer them asynchronously for folks, and we'll hand it over to Gil. And great job, first and foremost. And we'll hand it over to Gil to introduce our next company as well. But thank you for going first.
Awesome. So continuing in the path of content verification, and thanks, Ken, that was super cool. But we've got the super fast growing DSALTA that is building an AI native automated compliance certification platform. So I believe we've got Dogan to present this next. And as you can see, we're
that will be John, actually.
Yes. I will take care today. Thank you very much, Jill. And before we start, I want to take time to appreciate all the time last couple of weeks the team support for us. I really appreciate all the time, especially from Steven, Jill, Privy, Jason. Really appreciate all the long night support, especially for folks joining from Asia last couple of weeks. And let me start by introducing DSALTA. We are in compliance space with our AI agent. And let me officially introduce myself. I have been a software engineer for years, but unlike majority, I switched from being a developer to being a marketer. And then I joined NVIDIA early last decade as one of the first marketers to GPU computing group. And I grew that business over there, create first evangelism campaigns like GPU test drive. And since then, I've been a CMO 5 times in Silicon Valley. And I was a happy CMO until I met my co-founder, Dogan.
Yes, I'm the troublemaker. So this is Dogan. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I had previously 2 startups. One of them was really good. I exited successfully. And my second startup, Paler, was employee knowledge base, the Privy AI. We were happy with small teams, and they were using our platform. And then we are like, when we are ready for enterprise, and then we need a SOC 2. And unfortunately, when we realized a SOC 2 is going to cost us $40,000 and then plus 6 to 7 months, and as a solo founder, that was impossible time and money for me to put it there. So we had to step down. And then when we realized this industry has not been designed for especially small and medium-sized companies, with John, we created DSALTA to help especially SMBs for their compliance journey.
Yeah, because Dogan's last company failure is not specific to Dogan, there are lots of startups are getting victimized by compliance mafia, because you need to get compliance to sell in B2B space, but it has so much time and money you have to spend. You have to track the vendors. You have to create evidence from lots of different fragmented files. And most of the times, startups, what we learn is that delay getting compliance, and every day they delay, they lose deals. And in the case of Dogan's company, they might even lose the company. So we want to change that by using AI. So we launched the DSALTA AI agent to help companies get fast, frictionless, and affordable compliance solutions. And how we do that is very straightforward. Our AI agent accesses the backend of our customers' data, like cloud providers, code repositories, and get all the evidence by running tests, writing policies, do vulnerability analysis. And most of the time, our customers get audit ready in 2-3 days using our AI agent. And then after that, go to our partner auditor, and our partner auditors certify our customers in 5-6 days. So most of our customers get popular frameworks like SOC 2 Type 1 in less than 10 days. And more than SOC 2, we support total of 53 frameworks, including GDPR, ISO, HIPAA, and recent frameworks like AI UC1. And you might be wondering that there are other companies in the market. Yes, we are not alone. We are not this loan company. There are legacy companies that were founded 10 years ago. They opened the doors for us. And we are much different. We are using much different technology. Let's say we use Node.js versus they are PHP. And we are much different like speed and ease of use. For example, what we did in 7-8 days, the legacy companies takes around 3 months to complete. That's why we never lost to these legacy companies who were invented 10 years ago. In terms of market is very large itself, $80 billion today. But we don't reach out everybody. We launched like 6 months ago, and we are currently targeting startups side of the world. The reason is twofold. Number one, there is a sheer volume of startups. Just this year, there are 300,000 startups to be formed, and 40% needs what we sell. Secondly, the new generation startups that are formed, they don't have the patience to wait months to get compliance. We have one customer, for example, called Atlantic. They launched end of February. They came back to us early March. We give them compliance certification by before mid-March, and they closed their first enterprise deal end of March, and since then they grew. If they go to legacy companies, they will be still waiting to get theirs sucked to. And the new generation of vibe coders who can create a product in 1 day, who can create a website in 4 hours, they don't have the patience to wait months to get compliant. So DSALTA worked very well in their workflow. Our 7-day compliance worked very well in their workflow. And so far, we acquired 33 such customers who trust our system. And we reach out, of the 33 customers, we reach out almost 240K ARR. But more than the numbers of all these 33 customers we acquired by fully bootstrap, zero cost of acquisition, which means that we have zero ads we spend, we have no sponsored events. Dogan and I, we are the only sales and marketing team member. We don't have an extended sales or marketing team. So we achieved 239K by fully organic and partnership. And now we proven that we can deliver that to almost 250K ARR. We are raising our first ever round of 3 million. And majority of the 3 million we are raising, we are going to use to acquire more customers. Unlike others, we are going to use the majority of that money for marketing, user acquisition, awareness. And we have a detailed plan, which we can explain in detail, but on a high level, currently we close organically 4 or 5 customers per month. We have a detailed model that can bring 4 or 5 to more than 135 per month. We will use after we raise our funds. And once we reach that level, we'll be planning to close next year by 14.2 million. We are going to raise a Series A also in 2027. And in 2030, we are forecasted to reach more than 300 million ARR. And we surround ourselves with lots of partners. We are, of course, part of Apollo, but we also partner up with some other accelerators, for example, including Alchemist, Techstars, and Skybit, because they like our products, so they always put DSALTA on their first page. We also have an extended board of advisors who give us advice on compliance and security. For example, Kelly has been running an 80% team in risk. Ismail Sebe is a 20-year veteran in Google, and this is all about us. And we are happy to answer any questions from the team if you have.
Awesome. Thank you both. We'll maybe have time for one question. So I'm going to ask Christina's question. As she asked, will you build a white hat ecosystem to keep your service up to date, or kind of what's your plan there?
Sorry, Jason, can you question? I need to hear that.
She was asking just your plan for keeping kind of your ecosystem up to your service up to date over time.
So if the question is about, we always keep up to date with our recent changes. That's why, for example, before everybody else, we incorporated AI UC1 that nobody can do. That's a new framework. So we always look at the recent changes in the compliance industry, and we take care of it. And also, if the ecosystem is in terms of business, we keep building more partnerships. Like, for example, the reason I showed at the end, we have so far around 8, 9 partnership. We are also thinking about doing other partnerships, including like banks that work very closely with startups like Web3 or Brex, or like other companies like Carta or Capita. So we want to expand our system after our fundraise. These are all organically proven partnerships, and we want to add more partnerships, and then we want to keep part of the, like, we want to be known this year to be the choice of compliance vendor for all the startups, and next year we want to go up market.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. I hand it back over to Gil to keep us moving, but there's more questions in the chat, so you can do similar to what Ken did and answer some of them asynchronously. But thank you.
Awesome. John, Dogan, thank you. And next, as orgs deploy agentic workflows to autonomously transact, their ability to manage them becomes all the more critical. So next we've got Floe Labs, which is building FinOps for voice agents. Alex, take it away.
Thank you, Gil. Can you see my screen? All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. I'm Alex, again, building Floe Labs. So we're financial ops for AI voice agents. So billing and spend management. Today, working capital that I'll get to underwritten on top. The problem we're solving, giving an example, I have a friend, Brian. He runs about 500 outbound voice sales agents. Every call spends about 10 cents real time across Twilio, Deepgram, OpenAI, 11 Labs, and several other vendors. To keep the agents alive, he prepays a couple $1,000 sitting idle at each one after onboarding, of course. So one weekend, one of his agents started looping. We're probably all very familiar with this. OpenAI spend spiked unchecked while his Twilio balance drained to 0. Calls died mid-pipeline during peak outbound hours, and he had no way to see or to stop it. Cost him a little over $40,000 in 5 days of pipeline. So agents are about to spend billions on pay-as-you-go APIs. Today, every dollar is prepaid. Operators park thousands in idle balances across every vendor, trapping the majority of their working capital. They deploy then agents that carry unbounded, unpredictable liability. There's no budget or quality control, no unified billing, no working capital. No merchant or other agent can underwrite them for onboarding or to coordinate with them either. So today, on Floe, a voice agent operator connects a card, and Floe provides them with a single point of integration for over 2,000 pay-as-you-go vendor services, paid and controlled through one Floe API, one API key. So every vendor, every rail, we're both X402 and MPP native today, and we're rail agnostic by design. So that means no per vendor accounts and no wallets to manage for these operators and enterprises. So token routers such as OpenRouter, they see your LLM spend. We see your entire bill, the speech, search, compute, which is why we can actually bound and optimize what an agent costs you. On top of that, sits programmable spend controls. So hard controls such as per agent, per task, per vendor, enforced before money moves. And then we also have today, it's called budget aware controls. So an agent running mid-task that's low on budget can downgrade to a cheaper model or tool without sacrificing quality. And let's see here. I'm missing one. Apologies for that. So every agent decision and transaction writes to our proprietary data for Floe. So how each agent spends across vendors, which tool or model they use, task completion, and budget or quality aware decisions. We see agents' entire economic behavior, not just its tokens. And that data set is what makes agent working capital, and other services underwritable. Billing and spend management is how we earn the data. Working capital and spend optimization is what the data unleashes or unlocks. So 8 weeks in, we have over 1,600 voice agent operators signed up, 457 activated and transacting, 17 vendor partnerships. Like I mentioned, 2,000 services that are live, pay as you go. We're also building a POC with 2 voice agent platforms whose combined user base is over 1 million voice agent developers and over 3,000 enterprises that run about 5 million calls a day. And the goal is to become their embedded billing, spend management, and working capital layer. So one integration for us and thousands of users. From a team standpoint, my co-founder, Shivam, he was most recently the CTO at Cato Money, which was acquired by Swap.com. He was also the founding tech lead at Transact on an offering. And I built payments and treasury management and compliance at AirWallets, Western Union, and eBay. We also previously co-founded and co-built a venture-backed DeFi protocol together before this. We're raising at the moment, so please come find me. And thank you. Any questions?
All right, Alex, I love this. First question is, how are you planning to scale your user base?
Yeah, thanks, Marcus. So the go-to-market right now is to get embedded across voice agent platforms, which in the last month, if you've paid close attention, there's been a ton of growth capital that's gone into a number of platforms and a number of tools. And so to become the billing and spend layer and eventually working capital, we believe is the best way to capture growth.
And yeah, thank you. And the next one, I see a lot of these. What prevents major incumbents and Stripe from leveraging their kind of technology to replicate yours? What is your response there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think Stripe is one of the only, I believe, that could enable this today. AirWallets just came out, I think, as well, with a new round to tackle some of this. Yeah, I mean, I think so. From a reputation graph standpoint, you would need to be basically taking all of the traces that we're taking today, and then we're also a permissionless system, and by nature, we're a coordination layer, I would say, and so this is antithetical to larger incumbents today. So as I mentioned, X402 and NPP native are going to be offering and accepting virtual accounts, and so we see ourselves more as a native partner to spend rails and to wallets versus a competing layer. So
fantastic, thank you so much. Okay, I'll hand it over to Gil.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alex. A couple quick reminders. If you guys want to get in touch with any of the teams, again, there's a form. Stephen posted it earlier. I'm reposting it in the chat. And then if you, sorry, I'm going to repost it, or Stephen will repost it in the chat actually in a minute. And if you have questions, there's the chat, and then there's the Q&A form. So click on Q&A on the bottom right of your Google Meet, and you should be able to answer questions or pose questions there. So continuing with the agentic workflow side of things, like tackling the risk side of agentic interactions, we've got ICME, who are literally at the cutting edge of formal verification cryptography, helping ensure agents behave as they're supposed to. So next, Wyatt from ICME, they're building cryptographic guardrails for AI agents.
Thanks, Gil. Let me set the screen. It's this one. Let me know if you guys can see it. Cool. Hi, my name is Wyatt Benno. I am the technical founder of ICME Labs, and we're building AI agent guardrails that can be bypassed or ignored. Let me make it large. Sorry about that. There we go. So more recently, enterprises and startups are deploying AI agents at an accelerated rate, but most of them aren't even checking if what they're deploying is secure. For every 5 teams, there is 1 team that actually gets security sign off. So people are deploying very quickly and very few actually checking security. And the results are actually very, very disastrous. Within 1 year, $100 million has gone missing due to various different agentic attacks. And the reason is pretty simple in our eyes. The guardrails that exist stages don't work. They're using heuristics, LM judges, and observation, and these are all reactive, which means you only notice after something goes wrong. And even in the best cases, they top out around 80% protection. We think there's a completely different way to do this, and it involves formal methods backed by cryptography. With these, we can get up to 100% protection. So our technology, we call it pre-flight. It gives 3 unique things that no other system can offer. One is your policy is protected over every possible input. Your guardrails can never be talked out of, which is a common problem with LLM-based judge systems. Secondly, and this is pretty important and unique to zero-knowledge proofs, you have something called succinct verification. This means anyone can verify a guardrail ran successfully with minimal trust in under a second. We can aggregate thousands of these guardrails, and it still remains true that you can verify in under a second. And lastly, you can have a private policy, which means specifically before you'd have to hand your policy to an auditor, they had to go through your logs to make sure everything matched. But now you can just hand over this mathematical proof with mathematical certainty. So the way pre-flight works today is you can take any natural language document. So anything that's in English. It could be a legal document, HR, or even like a wallet policy. We convert this using automated reasoning into formal logic. After it goes through formal logic, the actions are tested against it, and it provides a result, sat or unsat or blocked or allowed. And we wrap this entire thing in ZK to make it succinctly verifiable. So just running through an example to make it a little bit more concrete. You have a procurement agent that may have a policy rules that you set up for yourself. Something like spending limits, maybe approved vendor list or categories that you want it to go purchase. It receives an order from a vendor. This person could be a third-party vendor, completely trusted, or an attacker even. We run the request against the policy that's done in formal logic, and it checks this in a binary fashion. Is sat or unsat, allowed or blocked. If the vendor happens to pass and all the order details pass as well, we generate proof that the vendor can check or any other agents downstream. And this is quite amazing because you actually pass from agent to agent to agent, and everyone can verify in under a second that everything went properly. And of course, the human side of this, the CFO himself gets a tamper-evident cryptographic audit trail that he can just pass to any auditor that might want to check later. So you can see what the agent did and why in a succinct way. So why now? I think this is always a fun question. Currently, there's a lot of people making new standards, and we're kind of at the vanguard of this. Most teams actually log everything, just in case an agent goes haywire and others need to review sometime in the future. These logs are held at enormous cost. Some people are spending over $10 million a month just doing logs for our agents. But with cryptographic proofs, you actually don't need to log everything. You can confirm everything succinctly in under a second and have a mathematical guarantee of proofs. So you have this tamper-evident proof of agent actions, and we think that will become the standard as these go forward. At the same time, we can save these teams millions of dollars in logging costs. So the agentic economy is positioned to be gigantic, but none of this is going to be true unless agentic commerce itself is successful. And the reason why right now it's kind of blooming, kind of new, it still needs security. So how do we secure this? We're actually working directly with named partners that are large anchor customers. And these already have millions of dollars, millions of users paying for current guardrails. We think just having them upgrade to better guardrails is our main pitch. So the customer persona is pretty easy. These are enterprises that are already paying for AI guardrails or observability. They're simply going to be upgrading to our better suite. So we do have a name partnership with AWS. We have joint research and joint marketplace. We're pushing this forward very much, but also in anything where there's adversarial settings. So stable coins or things like this, where you need this extra layer of defense. Our pilot is completely filled with startups as well, waiting to use these, our technology as well. But above that, actually, we've been featured on a few different platforms recently as well. So most recently, if you want to look deep into the company, we're just recently on the ZK podcast with Anna Rose. And this is an hour of us going through the technology and the company itself. So if you want to listen, please go to that. We've also been named by pretty famous CTOs about our tech. So we're well known in the cryptography space more generally. So our team is actually split up in 2 sides by design. On one hand, we're experts in cryptography, formal methods, and automated reasoning. But on the other hand, we're repeat founders and go-to-market tacticians. So we can both build this stuff and sell it. We're literally building the pick and shovel infrastructure with a very deep tech mode. Once again, I'm Wyatt Benno. I'm the technical founder. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have worked for VC in the past, PE as well. I have run a few companies myself that have all been acquired. Human Shadab, who's my founder, he has a legal background. His last company, Clause.io, was acquired by DocuSign. He's also a Stanford Codex Fellow. So for upcoming raise, we want you to reach out to Wyatt at ICME.io, and we do think this is a once-in-a-lifetime type of investment opportunity. To summarize everything, we're building the standard for agentic trust, and we're basing this on mostly mathematics and cryptography. So this is formal logic, automated reasoning, and cryptography. And we think as enterprises get serious on agentic security, ICME is perfectly positioned to kind of dominate this market. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Wyatt. This is super interesting. And Christina has a question. What if users just have bad habits? Could attackers still just connect or other accounts and find vulnerabilities even with cryptography?
So I think it's a very interesting question. The human intent matched with how you defend against it is always a very fun question that people have in academia and also in practice, right? How do you know what I wrote was actually defended against? And the cool thing about this with automated reasoning, you have a process where you take this natural language that any human, you don't have to be a specialist. It can be anyone, a lawyer, a random person on the street, they can just write out these rules themselves in their own language, mostly English for us right now. And this gets converted over, but then there's a battle testing phase saying, hey, did you actually, these rules actually matched your intent? And you go this scenario like thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. And after this process is done, you sign off on the whole system before pushing it to production. So this actually gives you the, hey, my intent matches this formal logic. And then we battle test it to make sure it's 100% good to go before deploying it into production. So once again, the caveat here is if you make very bad rules, we're going to point it out in the battle testing phase, and we're probably going to reject it. So these have to be fact-based things. Is the sky blue? This type of stuff. It can't just be random opinionated things. So that's just a more general limitation of auto-formalization, and it's very cool research.
Very cool. And quickly, one last one. One question here. Can you elaborate on your primary distribution strategy or go-to-market?
So the largest thing we're doing first is literally people who are already working on or already have customers that have or using these guardrails. We just attack them first. So there's a lot of people using observability dashboards, especially in the Bay Area or other places. And it's been pretty interesting going and talk to them because they talk about observability and the huge logging costs that go with this. So one customer we're speaking with is literally spending $10 million a month just on their observability dashboard. Like, hey, you can eventually just save yourself all that money by upgrading to ICME pre-flight. But going through these channels where people are already having these pain points has been pretty good for us. And if we partner with like AWS and other cloud providers, they already have the customers there that are having very similar issues. And I also think there's a requirement by legal and CISO and CTOs to make sure they're using the best technology that's out there. And we, in our opinion, it's us. And we're able to show like, hey, essentially, you made the policy and defended, you did your job right, CTO, you did your job right, CSO. I think that's unique to us as well because we're using these cryptographic receipts. Cool.
Fantastic. And there's more questions, actually, one from Ben, but you can do that async. And with that, thank you so much. And I will hand it over to Stephen.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have Ishan from Impulse AI. Can you see the future? Well, maybe with Impulse AI, you can. Bringing autonomous machine learning engineering platform to an enterprise near you. Ishan, are you ready?
Yep. Can you guys hear me and see my screen?
Yes and yes.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Ishan, the founder and CEO of Impulse AI. We're building AI agents that turn a prompt and data into production machine learning models for non-ML teams. Chemical engineers, analysts, and managers know what they want to predict, own the data, but can't build their own ML models. Because they lack ML skills. They don't have the budget to hire scarce and expensive machine learning engineers, or they're not allowed to use internal engineers. They tried Claude Code, but they don't know if the model works, where it's flawed, or how to fix it when it breaks. And because of this, models never get built and machine learning is never leveraged in their workflow. But with Impulse, they can build any model in just hours. It's as simple as prompting with your goal, and we handle the rest. From data processing, model selection, training, evaluation, and deployment. And our agent is really good. It plays in the top 2.5% of a Kaggle competition with 0 human intervention. Even crazier, Our AI agent beat every top NBA modeler predicting the NBA playoffs, including Nate Silver, ESPN, and Basketball Reference, and prediction markets such as Polymarket and Call Sheet. Our agent predicted Knicks versus Spurs, Spurs over Thunder, and Cavs over Pistons. No one else did. And this isn't a wrapper. A system of agents search dozens of model architectures, run safety checks on every model, gets smarter with every workflow it builds, and monitors deployed models for issues to make sure it's working properly in a production environment. We launched just last month, and I've already hit $130,000 in ARR with customers such as Boeing, Southwest Research Institute, and Thar Energy. Thar Energy designs advanced heat exchangers for next-generation energy systems. That used to take them months per design. Now it takes them weeks. Southwest Research Institute and Boeing use it for the opposite problem. Their heat exchangers are already out in the field, and they need to catch corrosion and failures before they happen. So they point Impulse at their data, and our agent builds the model that predicts when a part is going to fail. And that's just what we've closed. Right now, we have over $2 million in qualified enterprise pipeline with companies like Los Alamos National Lab, Accenture, and American Dream. Our go-to-market has 3 channels that reinforce each other. First, engineers and analysts can sign up self-serve when they want to solve prediction problems. Second, we work with enterprises on a forward-deployed engineer model, enabling better support and more product stickiness. And finally, we scale through channel partners like consulting agencies who already sell to customers that we may not be able to reach ourselves. And that's just the start. Today, our agents build structured machine learning models, like predicting when an EV battery will fail. Next, unstructured data, fine-tuning, and reinforcement learning for use cases like designing heat exchangers autonomously. And the goal is AI agents that run research itself and pre-train foundational models. This is for everyone who has data and problems worth solving, but can't build AI and can't hire the people who can. We're the right team for this market. We have previously worked together and shipped AI products that have generated over $100 million in revenue across Zesty AI, Protocol Labs, and Lumino. And I love our team. Juan is one of the sharpest researchers I've worked with, and he also has real product sense, which is rare. He invented our core algorithm and helped define the user experience. He has a PhD from EPFL, and before Impulse, he was a senior researcher at Protocol Labs, whereas ML Systems distributed over $30 million in incentives. Derek is an engineer's engineer, a tinkerer who has to know how exactly everything works, whether it's hardware or software. He knows exactly when to ship a quick prototype and when to build a real system, so we ship value without over-engineering. He holds PayPal patents on secure sandboxing and scaled Bless to over 3 million nodes as CTO. Shujan has one of the most structured minds I've ever worked with. He breaks every problem into smaller solvable pieces, so nothing feels overwhelming and we move fast. He built our training and inference infra and did the same for open source LLMs at Lumino. And I built the world's most accurate wildfire risk model at Zesty AI. It was the first model to get approved by California's Department of Insurance and generated over $20 million in ARR. I have degrees in electrical and computer engineering and cognitive science from Carnegie Mellon. We're backed by Carnegie Mellon and Orange DAO and by Zero G and Blockchain Builders Fund through this accelerator. Opening up our seed round. If what we're building resonates with you, I would love to talk. Additionally, if you want to try the product, please go to our website or email me or DM me. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hassan. It's funny because Steven actually asked the #1 question here that I also wanted to know who is going to win the World Cup. And I know that you actually done some work on this, so I'd love for you to share that with some people later. But we'll go through some questions here. Christina asks, is this specifically for ML? Does it integrate with something like Cursor or Cloud Code for everything else?
Yeah, great question. So as I mentioned, we're starting with structured machine learning, introducing unstructured data and LLMs later this year. And then in terms of how you can use the product, you can either go to our website, web app, and use the product as a user interface. And over the next few weeks, we'll also be launching Cloud Code and Codex plugins.
Fantastic. Next question. How do you plan to scale your forward deployed service-heavy model with partners?
Yeah, so what we're doing today is the hard part and for our customers is not just the machine learning, but it's actually building the data pipeline. And so we go in, we help build the data pipeline, and that data pipeline takes data and pipes it to our AI agent, which is then able to make sense of the data and the business problem the customer uses. And then everything else is an agentic workflow that's done autonomously by our agent. Thanks to this, we are able to use a forward deployed engineer model to kind of scale up non-linearly without having to hire more people, but also have deep customer relationships and product stickiness with our customers.
Amazing. And last question, and this is the #1 investor question these days. How will you maintain a competitive edge against frontier models? What's stopping them from copying this?
Yeah, so two parts. So first is that, as I mentioned, we're a full engineering system as opposed to a prompt in Claude code. So we have production guardrails, we have the infrastructure underneath, GPUs, CPUs, etc., and things that you couldn't build yourself using Claude code. The second is because the customers that we work with are actually not machine learning engineers and data scientists, these models and these workflows are never shown to Claude or Codex, which means that they don't actually have this training data. But we have this training data, which means that we are actually going to be later building our own model that will be far superior to anything the frontier labs will be able to produce, solely because they will never see this data.
Fantastic. And there's more question for you in the chat, Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us today. Back to you, Steven.
All right. Thank you, Sean. So this is the halfway mark. Everyone take a quick moment, stretch. I know it's been like an unrelenting stream of awesome talent. So, buckle up. The back half is just as good as the first half. As a reminder, we have a form in the chat, right? If you want to get in touch with these teams, they often present ways to do it, but the form's another good way. So please have that up as you hear the pitches. Next up, technology is neutral. It can be used for good or evil. We have Johnny from Mighty, who's going to show how we can use AI for good here. Johnny, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Johnny, and I'm the founder of Mighty. Mighty gives insurers deterministic decisions for client-submitted evidence before the evidence enter underwriting or claims. The idea is simple. If a customer submits a file, Mighty tells the workflow whether to trust it, review it, or stop it. So let's start out with a simple test. Which of these statements is real? They both look really identical, but just one line of change. And in underwriting, one line of change can alter an entire decision: income balances, transaction history, eligibility, even pricing. The problem is client-submitted evidence is now editable, and humans cannot reliably catch it at speed. The line of change is actually ending balance to inflate your balance by another $1,000. How about photos? When it comes to photos, how do you know which is real? This matters because in underwriting and claims, these play very vital roles in document workflows. They rely on photos, estimates, receipts, loss runs, statements, and customer narratives. And all this, AI with a credit card, is easy to alter. The image on the left is real, image on the right is fake. So our solution is quite simple. Mighty sits before the underwriting workflows occur. Every submitted files go through Mighty first. We check for AI generation, tampering, domain rule mismatch, and policy routing issues. Then we issue a deterministic output of allow, warn, or block. So the underwriter does not get another vague AI opinion. They get an auditable decision trail that can easily be tracked from the start. So why now? The timing is driven by two forces. First, fraud is becoming easier and cheaper. Document fraud is already measurable. Insurance carriers are already seeing manipulated claims evidence, as shown in recent research. In 1 in 16 documents already has fraud. Second, underwriting is becoming more automated. That means bad inputs can now move faster through the system. Mighty is built for the full evidence surface: documents, images, text, audio, and hidden prompts. When I say hidden prompts, prompt injection. So you can hide things in the white that is invisible to human eye that can be caught by OCRs and vision models. The team behind it is myself, a solo founder, who has built enterprise systems at scale. My background stands in ML products, infrastructure, and even regulated workflows. I sold my first startup back when I was 21 to Kaplan, an HR recruitment platform that scaled to 6 universities, pairing students in liberal arts majors in career choices that their parents will be proud of. Additionally, I was also a tech lead for McKesson, where I helped revitalize their EHR platform, helped them win back a $180 million contract they were going to lose to Epic and Cerna, and had gained a lot of immense experience within regulated industries. And then for Motive, I was an ML engineer there for Motive's hardware division, where Motive is actually going IPO this year. But my work there was looking at federal compliant long-distance freight drivers, predicting ahead of time whether or not a driver is going to fall asleep by their yawning, slouching, and their blinking ahead of time. And I was the protocol engineer for founding engineering team at Evmos, which is an EVM and Cosmos-based chain, where our EVM stack is used across crypto services like 0G, Kava, Crypto.com, and more. The market gap does not really solve this at scale. When we look at frontier models are oftentimes general purpose, inconsistent, and very expensive. And quite frankly, no financial services or insurance regulation will ever send someone's PII or protect information through these frontier models. Additionally, most of these models do not participate in watermarks. Open source models like the Chinese models do not participate in that. So there's no unilateral way to mark this. Additionally, manual reviews are going to be slow. We are seeing that people are spending 10 to 100 times more at the human level to review these, and these are not scalable. The traction in the last few months have been immense. We started with just $25 when we first started in February to now projected to 12,000 MRR. Our qualified pipeline is over $500,000 with respectable pilots with Encino, which is a publicly traded company that services over 1,800 banks, Jewelers Mutual, which is America's largest jewelry insurance company, and Byberg, which is Berkshire Hathaway's company in claims and homes. Our go-to-market is very simple. We're targeting leaders that own automated risk. We're starting with the evidence trail and targeting the enterprise motion of senior SIU, SVP of products, claims, and even underwriting ops. We're targeting where these workflows can render decision quickly, providing them a fraud signal so they can make the decision quickly within few seconds to a few minutes versus hours on ends. We're raising in a few weeks, and we invite you to participate. Mighty is basically securing underwriting evidence at scale. We are doing so within text, image, document, audio, and prompts. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Johnny. I was going to say also you accomplished way more by the age of 21 than I think many of us on the call, so congratulations on that. But first question here was really just around which specific segment of insurance market are you prioritizing as your beachhead as you really think about the next kind of 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, we're focusing on property and casualties. Anytime there is a situation where they can't send someone out to evaluate clients' input, like a non-total fire or flood, there's going to be opportunities for fraudsters to submit manipulated evidence that could influence downstream underwriting processes. And so we're focusing on those elements as our first beachhead.
Awesome. And I think we have time for at least one more. So same question that we've been getting quite a bit, but what is your moat against larger competitors? And Dan had mentioned it seems like if your approach is to use AI to catch AI, providers with more distribution will have advantages. So is there anything special about your approach that you want to call out there?
Sure. There's 3 focuses. One is that we use small models, so which allows us to iterate much faster. We retrain our model every 3 days, approximately. So we're always improving on the latest threats. Second is we are focusing on a trifecta area where most systems tend to just focus on one substack, like documents or images or insurance. We're writing a secure, comprehensive underwriting stack that can look across image, document, text, audio, and do so with a reliable output. And then third is the ability to do cross-document examination. Most systems do one image at a time or one document at a time. We can historically look back to previous underwriting or even claim submissions and run those in a way that allows, easy to use. And it's all unified under one endpoint. So you don't have to search across different processes. We make it really simple to use with just one unified endpoint.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you for the presentation. It was great. And I'm going to hand it back over to Stephen to kick us off with our next one.
All right. Excellent work, Johnny. Thank you. Okay, so do you know if your coding agent is putting out pure slop or S-tier mana? Next up, we have Krish from Floe Labs, building an autonomous AI QA engineer, which will help you, Tom. Krish, please take it away.
Thanks, Stephen. Let me share my screen. Okay, everyone, I'm Krish, co-founder of Floe Labs, and we're building Gina. Gina is the first fully autonomous AI QA engineer. Gina understands what every code change can break, learns from every single past issue that your product has had, and actually runs the app to catch and fix issues before your users have to face them. So AI coding, as we all know, has increased the amount of code and the volume of code that teams are shipping. And so now maintenance and resilience has become the constraint. And engineering teams are increasingly paranoid about issues hidden in the code that they're shipping. And that means every code change carries hidden risk. Engineering teams need a way to validate code changes and catch as many issues as possible before their users are impacted. And traditional testing gates only know pre-existing paths and flows, so they don't really catch issues outside of these pre-existing happy paths. And coding agents, on the other hand, currently do static analysis. So that means they read your code base, but they never actually run your app or see how it behaves outside of just the code base. Gina works differently. We actually first build a context graph, which is mapping your code base, product flows, and every past issue into this unified model, and general coding agents can search through files or call on MCP tools, but they actually don't have this deeper model of what changes cause what kinds of issues. And once we build this graph, Gina then uses it to understand the blast radius to then reason through what parts of the app might break with every code change. And we then take those hypotheses and actually run the app and probe them in a sandbox. And when we can't run the app itself, we actually get Gina to simulate what execution looks like. And as a result of all of this, we're able to actually find issues that static code review tools just cannot. And Gina goes a step further, and whenever it finds an issue, it actually goes ahead and fixes it as well. Context is key here, and it's kind of our secret sauce. And so without context, AI misses the impact or the causal chain of a function. So a function without context looks exactly like this, and AI, the agents are just searching through files to learn about it on demand. But with Gina sees coding agents see the deeper system context. And so a function just like this, we're able to map it to a past issue that a user faced. We're also able to map it to the fact that this is related to authentication. And because Gina now found that this is related to a past issue, it goes ahead and flags the same code change in prod. And Gina is the only end-to-end AI QA engineer. So we're going from detection, reproduction, diagnosis, and fix in one workflow. And we're able to catch deeper issues with fewer false positives than any existing tool today. So far, we've worked with 20 paying customers in our first batch, and we have 250 companies on a waiting list, and we're launching our next version pretty soon. Some of our biggest customers are the Vaughn Group, which is behind Hailey Bieber's fashion brand Roadskin, Hexclad, and Dua Lipa's brand, working with LucidLink, as well as Zora, which is a Web3 unicorn. Our vision for Gina really is to build what we call an autonomous maintenance factory. And that means we want to be able to identify and fix issues pre and post deployment with no human prompting required. And this is especially unique because after pre-processing all of this information into its own context graph, we're able to get the agent work within its own self-contained context model within the system. And so we can sort of just eliminate the human for any maintenance task. And this is also, we also see Gina as almost a wedge to our own coding world model. Coding models today are trained on static code and have no intuition for what execution looks like. And by owning our own maintenance layer, we're able to, and as we succeed and as we scale, hopefully we'll get to a point where we can actually own this layer where we're also able to deploy our own coding world models that allow coding agents to think through what execution looks like. We're a Stanford team with work experience at Microsoft and Uber. Keon and I have known each other for about 10 years now, and we also previously built the fastest distributed key management system that was used by companies with over 10 million wallets. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Krish, I love this. I put stuff on GitHub all the time. I should really use this. Cool. First question. This seems like a really useful tool for a lot of different types of customers. Can you elaborate on which you will prioritize over the next 6 months?
So right now, all of our customers are seed to Series B companies, fast-growing tech companies, and the verticals that we see the most pull from are fintech and e-commerce, because any sort of code changes are tied to potential, it's tied to money. So.
And thank you. And from Christina, if users run it multiple times, does that improve the results? That's a good question.
Actually, this is interesting. It does. So we've had customers open PRs and find issues, and they fix those PRs, and then it finds new issues to fix. And so they have to keep fixing issues until Gina is satisfied. So this does happen, and we're trying to find better ways of doing deeper investigation.
That's a big issue in right now models. Can you tell me, does it solve the problem that are already in the system?
Sorry, what solve what problems?
I also didn't actually get
problems. Does it solve the problems that it catches? It does. Yeah.
Yes.
So we find issues, we triage them, we prioritize them, and then we draft fixes as well.
Amazing. And the last one is the technology limited to browser-based applications?
No, it works for any type of application.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you so much. I will hand it over.
Cool. Thank you, Krish, and thank you, Marcus. So next we have Pulsar Money, and Pulsar Money is a crypto-native new bank for AI agents. So the floor is yours. We'll have Alex from Pulsar Money.
Everyone, I'm Alex, CEO at Pulsar. First of all, thanks for having me here. So we are building Pulsar as a consumer fintech app focused on some specific use cases, payments corridors, and specific communities, while having a very aggressive go-to-market plan in terms of numbers and what we're targeting, and several differentiators. I'll start with the fact that basically we can see clearly today that stablecoins and the new rails for like the fintech space is clearly bringing a lot of value. There are some sizable players in the space currently, and there are a lot of basically use cases when you changed all the fintech rails towards the stablecoins and the Web3 space. We are very pragmatic about this, and we have been focusing heads down on bringing differentiators on our side in terms of product and go-to-market strategies. For instance, we are going to have one of the biggest distribution in terms of coverage from, for example, on our card program to not only have basically dollar cards like 95% of our competitors do, but basically expanding to multiple other currencies. We are launching first with dollars, euros, and pounds, and we are currently design partners to several stablecoin issuers from Europe, Circle being an important partner and backer, and currently about to launch one of the biggest coverage in terms of currency supported within our fintech app. While actually our user persona is really interested in this. Then we have several corridors that we have managed to get licensed and be able to like operate in these regions. I will talk in shortly about this. Then we have a lot of partnerships with yield focused companies such as Morpho, Stakehouse, and other yield DeFi protocols. And we are targeting this a lot, specializing ourselves in yield and credit products. We are going to be able to offer much higher API on blue chip yields in partnership with Morpho and our partners. And we are going to do some quite vital stuff. We are non-custodial, we are MiCA compliant. We are going to be able to like do marketing a lot more heavily in Europe. And we have many perks alongside our basically corridors that we are focusing on. I will talk shortly about our B2B loyalty infrastructure that we have been building so far. And basically we have some very interesting new concepts that we are bringing to the table in making money more social, fun. All of this basically bringing down our cost of acquisitions per users and strategies in some of the go-to-market corridors. We are launching the yield products that are going to be heavily gamified, and we are basically also allocating some initial yields for the people to earn on, which is quite an interesting concept. We are launching AI Money, basically having a persona in our app that is like basically giving you the cashback in a very interesting way that we are going to make viral. But moving forward, perhaps the thing that I'm mostly excited about is our team. Most of our team members were either founders or were having leadership position in other companies alike as ours. We grew our team and we bootstrapped everything to close to 15 team members, having a B2B arm up and running, having the product almost developed and about to launch it very soon. Our team has been running a fund before we shifted, and we are like right now focusing all in on Pulsar. We've been backing 25 companies in payments, fintech space, and so on. We onboarded multiple team members that were like CMOs at other protocol, product leads at other fintech apps. And I think that our team can really execute really well and scale this really fast. That's our bet, and that's what we are focusing on. Speaking about focuses, we are going to focus quite a lot on like Europe corridors, payments corridors. Multiple flows are going to be quite very interesting. For instance, sending money via ACH for free to Europe in dollars, exchanging it for free from dollars to euros, having stable FX on chain, which is basically going to be like much better than any our competitor, and be able to spend euros and other European currencies with zero fee in Europe is going to bring us a big edge. We are the first neobank to launch in a European country that doesn't have support from Revolut, Wise, and Rain, and any other competitor from the Web3 space. That country is called Montenegro, and we figured out the things that we are going to be able to do so. There, we have a lot of connections alongside some payments corridors, such as French Polynesia to France, Middle East, and Europe. We are going to support all of these countries, have bank accounts for these people, and have like a lot of remittances solutions in our go-to-market plan. Right now, we are generating revenue from the B2B arm, and we think that we are at the inflection point where we are going to basically be able to have an exponential growth. That's the reason why we're also doing right now a raise and targeting the biggest dependency on our side, the 100,000 users mark in 9 to 12 months from now. So yeah, that's the reason why we are basically focusing right now heads down to launching the app, which is developed, and we are going to be able to share access with people in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I would be glad to basically have this conversation and onboard people from here in the app, chat more, and yeah, going back to our B2B arm that we have been running for 1 year, we have been servicing more than 25 paying clients from stablecoin issuers, the biggest music festival in Europe, centralized exchanges, chains, prediction markets, and so on, with white label infrastructure solutions from gamification, cashback, referrals, and all of these kind of modules that can be integrated via our API SDK or white label interfaces. And we are making this as a key component of the app. So basically, we are going to like convert people from the B2B solutions, and we are going to integrate this as a quite interesting growth module on the mobile app, alongside also expanding the B2B solutions with like other products that we are developing in terms of the terminals and other payment solutions that we are planning long term, especially in the markets that we are focusing on. So to wrap things up, we think that we have like developed some really cool differentiators in strong partnerships with like several banks, financial providers, stablecoin issuers, Circle, other stablecoin issuers, and so on, to basically differentiate our products in very significant way in terms of like the fees that we are providing, the coverage, some payment corridors that we are basically among the first or the only one that we can serve this kind of payments corridors, the user experience, product, and a very interesting go-to-market approach, having a lot of partnerships with other sizable players in order to reach our target of 100,000 users in a very short period of time before our next series of the company. Right now, we are doing a fundraise in order to onboard strategic players, not only to help us on the short to medium term grow, but also expand on a much longer time period. We have currently more than 15 investors, funds, and really good angels on board. And yeah, would love to chat more with you and explore having you guys as a partner for us. That's it, and thanks for the time here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex. And being from Europe, I can say that this is, sorely needed. So thank you for building this. I don't think we have time for every question here. We have time for one. You can answer them async. But maybe you can share. I mean, you mentioned this with leveraging your B2B. What's your primary strategy for acquiring your first 100K retail users?
On the go-to-market strategy, we have 4 pillars. B2B is one of the pillars among, for instance, like partnership-led things together with the partnership with Circle, Morpho, Zero G, and important players from the fintech world. And our gamification engine, the AI money solution, the yield, and all of this stuff. And the B2B arm is, of course, in an important pillar on that side, where we currently have 7 million users across all the white label interfaces. They are not our users, but they are like running on this infrastructures. And we've discussed and we have negotiated and we have agreements and like some really interesting partnerships with like the biggest music festival in Europe, a stablecoin issuer in Europe, centralized exchange, a perps tax from Europe. And basically all of these guys are going to basically be integrated with the gamification inside of our Earn product, and they are giving perks to our users, which is like really cool for like our community. And then they are also directing users to our sites with like special perks, like better terms if they pay with our cards and so on. And it's going to like shape up to like a very, very interesting like ecosystem of like, let's say 100 plus merchants, big names in Europe, basically giving perks to people that are using our financial products in terms of like cards, bank accounts, remittances, and other solutions.
Fantastic. All right. Super exciting. Thank you so much, Alex. And I'll hand it back to Koen.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. So next we'll have Walnut AI. So Walnut AI is an AI-powered autonomous professional networking platform. So we'll have Nicole from the Walnut AI team to present. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay, cool. Hi, could you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm co-founder of Walnut AI. We're building the first agentic professional networking platform. Our mission is to become the communication intelligence layer for the agentic economy. I bet many of you have professional networking as part of your daily work. It is so important that professionals spend over $2 trillion and 1,300 hours per person every year on it. But the process is broken. Just imagine like you want to close a deal. You need to find, vet, engage, and nurture the relationships. The whole process has a low matching rate, low conversion rate, but huge opportunity cost. Why does this happen? Because LinkedIn and other legacy platforms didn't multiply human capability. AI noise is exploding, and humans are becoming the bottleneck. So we need an agentic network built for today's complexity. Our solution is to build a network of professional digital twins that network on your behalf, 24 hours, 7 days. This is a new identity layer on a new communication protocol that steers your human age. Under the hood, we built Walnut operating system. It contains 4 layers of agentic infrastructure: application, orchestration, intelligence, and infrastructure. The MOIT is our intelligence layer. We build professional digital DNA engine and fine-tune an LLM and develop a memory OS that evolves with every interaction, all running on real-time A2A protocol with sub-second latency. In this solution, every user gets a digital twin, an AI agent that knows your professional context, goals, and history, paired with a professional relationship management. Your twin runs the full networking cycle autonomously. All of this is through the A2A protocol. Then you become more available, more instant, more accurate, more scalable, but cost less. Setup takes only 3 minutes. You connect your LinkedIn, calendar, and other personal contacts. Your twins built instantly from your digital footprint and private context. Then it deploys a fleet of specialized agents. Each agent learns from every interaction, so the fleet gets sharper over time. Finally, you just review, leave a voice note, or go full autopilot. Every decision you make trains your twin to be smarter. So that is where the human in the feedback loop. Here is what it combines. More twins means a denser network. More data means the smarter twins. The flywheel builds itself. The use case we started with is helping people find valuable connections during events, because we think this is the high intent scenarios. That's why we developed the Agents Meet. Let's watch a demo about it. The concept is let your agent help you find valuable connections before you really enter the event room, so you know who to talk to. The first step is to help users create digital twin. The event host just needs to set up some questions to collect the info. We integrate with different platforms. Then once the sign finished, the digital twin is created, which understand the user's experience and context. After that, the twin takes part in the Agents Meet event first, talking with each other to do the web check. Then it will bring a list of recommended connections for users to decide if they want to match with each other on-site or via a call. Once the mutual matches are built, the agent will automatically schedule the meeting based on your preference. So this is our first use case. Our business model is pretty straightforward. We start with freemium. Core tier is $20 a month. Power users pay $200 for the agent handling your whole networking cycle. We are running at 81% blended gross margin, and the beautiful thing is our CAC actually drops as the network grows. From there, we expand into B2B and developer APIs, and ultimately become the communication infrastructure for the agentic economy, just like TCP/IP for the internet. We've onboarded over 6,000 digital twins, facilitated 40,000 matches. At a previous conference, 10% of the attendees paid an average of $20 for high-quality recommendations. That's our PMF signal right here. And users consistently tell us our recommendation accuracy beats competitors. So our roadmap has 3 phases. Phase 1, we are answering the question about who to meet. That's where we are now. Phase 2 layers on a full PRM, so agents start proactively drafting follow-ups for you based on your current relationships and your preference. Phase 3 is a full unlock A2A across the entire network. Agents autonomously broadcasting, matching, and converting at scale. We are building from passive to fully proactive. Our team is built for this. David spent 6 years at LinkedIn building core data and AI infrastructure for 1 billion users. I've steered the products across 3 unicorns from 0 to 1. We are backed by Antler and 4 angels, including the former LinkedIn China CEO. Right now, we're asking for $2 million fundraising with the goal to steer users to 100K with 10% paid conversion rates by the end of 2026. If you are interested in investing or partnering with us, scan the QR code to schedule a meeting. We would love to have you on the journey with us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Well, first question that came up was really just, and maybe you can just reshare a little bit around how it works, because Christina asked a question around how users use the app. Do they use it when they're at the networking event, or is it before or after? So maybe you can just reshare more basically how it works in the flow.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So as I mentioned, like the event is just like the use case we start with. So we do first like to help people like find connections during events. But actually, like when the users will use our application, firstly they will create a digital twin during their onboarding process. The digital twin has different data sources, including their digital footprints via different platforms and other private contacts. After that, like they will have the digital twin, and it will deploy the specialist agent fleet of agents. So the agents can take the work, including like help them find the right connections, no matter on event or on social media platform or in our specialized exclusive database. And then like they and at the same time, they will also the twin will also manage the user's existing contacts. From linking their mobile contacts, emails, meeting, the people who wants to have meeting with them, all of these contacts, and even some CRM leads into together to manage that. So this is about the find and the engage and the maintaining the nurture part. And we also have another marketplace full of the working agents to finish the specific, like the tasks, like to help people schedule the meeting, to help people like check the monitor or track the people that they care about their recently updates. For example, you want to like have partnerships with the CEO of another startup, and then like the agent will just monitor their recently updates via the social media and other news, so that they can know when to follow up or to set up the successive like the networking strategies. So something like that. And this is a whole. So this is a whole application infrastructure. You will have the your twin, and you will have the working agents, and you will have a big professional relationship management. The three things like work together to help you to handle the full networking cycle.
Awesome. And maybe one more question just around unit economics and pricing. So can you talk a little bit more about your unit economics and pricing, and whether it primarily comes from individual attendees or the conference, kind of your B2B conference organizer model?
Sorry,
both your pricing and unit economics between kind of the individual attendees and the conference organizers.
Oh, I see. So yeah, so currently we adopt the freemium like the business model, so that like when the people use our main application, they will have they can just like pay $20 or $200 based on their usage. Like for each tier, there will be different numbers of the credits like given to these users, so that they can use these credits. They can unlock the premium features and user credits to let the agent to do the things for themselves. This is the main product. And for the event part, this is a single things. So we usually cooperate with the conference or some event host. And during the conference, the users, if they want to have the high quality connection recommendations, they just like pay a one-time fee for the recommended connection. So this is separate from the main product. And at the same time, cooperating with the conference is also one of our GTM strategy. So we let the users to try one of our use case and pay one-time fee for the recommended connections. And if they want to like unlock the full networking capability of our agents, they can just convert to the main product and to become subscribers. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nicole. And I think there's maybe a few more questions that were in the chat, so you can answer them in the chat function. But thank you for presenting, and congratulations on all the progress. And I'm going to hand it back to Kun to introduce our final presentation.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Jason. So the last but not least, we have UV Labs. UV Labs, financial reasoning training data infrastructure. So we'll have Justin from UV Labs.
Hello, everybody. Really great presentations today so far, but let me go ahead and get started for you. Hi, I'm Justin Bibas. I'm the CEO of UV Labs. We build infrastructure for training and deploying financial LLMs. And we all kind of know that LLMs are bad at trading, but do any of you know why? If you answered no, that's okay. You're not far behind the labs. So let me share some fun facts with you. If you ask a model how to manage risk, it will explain perfectly how and when to hedge. Excellent. When you present that same model with that same scenario in a controlled environment, oftentimes it won't actually de-risk. Your question lights up the correct distribution, but the real world scenario, what that question actually represents, does not. We see this problem in every frontier and open source model we've evaluated, with some even opting to double down instead. I think we all know some traders like that. Giving these models a memory makes things worse. Every model we test has extreme recency bias. A mistake a model makes a few steps prior prevents it from activating the same decision pathway again, even if it's the correct one. If you've saved this learning to a persistent memory file, you've basically given your agent brain damage for life. They're scared of messing up. And I'm sure we know some traders like that too. And market environments actually generalize really well. You find out pretty quick that models have no concept of time, that they're terrible at scaling numbers, that they aren't aware of their own capabilities, and that what they say and what they do often diverge during critical points. And that makes sense because markets are hard. Humanity pays a huge cost to overcome this in the real world. 5.5% of the US workforce today are required to keep financial markets in line. Thousands of our country's geniuses are spending their lives on spreadsheet optimization problems instead of medicine, material science, or energy. Our team has been working on this problem since 2022, alongside some really talented people. Up to that point, we managed hundreds of millions in our Reaper vaults, handled risk as a service for nearly 10 billion more, and invented some really cool automation mechanisms along the way. When the market collapsed in 2022, vaults became unsustainable, and we turned to AI for a way to give our users fine-grained control over their portfolios. So that year, we shipped the first AI wallet and financial AI framework. We proceeded to ship the first DeFi agent in 2023 and the first trading agent in 2024, which outperformed BTC buy and hold using just 4.0 mini. Then in 2025, we fired off the first ever AI trading tournament and then terminal, cementing what has now become the default go-to-market and form factor for the AI trading segment. And we're just getting started. Since we launched our first-party terminal, Codex, more than 6,000 people have created nearly 8,000 agents and done more than $400 million in volume across hundreds of thousands of trades. Those trades have generated millions of reasoning traces that don't exist anywhere else on Earth, in real markets with real humans in the loop. And because we're vertically integrated, they're perfect for reinforcement learning and are the key ingredient for solving the thousands of issues standing in the way of perfect autonomous markets. We are raising outside capital for the first time in order to make UV an industry standard and realize the commercial value of this data. Let me frame up the opportunity better for you. 63% of retail traders are using AI tools to help them make trading decisions. 75% of financial institutions are implementing AI across their organizations. And yes, they're all using the scared AI with recency bias that panics and doesn't know how to manage risk. Solving this sufficiently to take users and firms from chatbot to full automation is a $500 billion opportunity. So we're creating the financial AI company. Infrastructure, data, and training methods to create products that will do for finance what products like Cursor, Claude Code, and Codex have done for software engineering. Anywhere financial inference is happening, UV should be in the loop. Whether you're an exchange or wallet trying to deliver world-class AI features, a fund manager vibe coding internal tools, or a research lab looking for the highest quality data, you'll build safe, efficient, and performance systems faster with us. Here's what that actually means. Through 4 years of performance engineering, we've created a harness that doesn't make a trade-off between price and performance. Our harness can monitor and manage a position or portfolio for as little as a quarter per day, all while improving the safety and performance of the system. Achieving equivalent fidelity with a different provider would cost you 100,000 times more, and that's without the finance native features. So you should join us, and here's how. Number one, invest in us. We're raising outside capital for the first time right now. My Telegram is @jbcrypto95. My email is bebis@uvlabs.ai. And number two, tell your colleagues about UV. Every person in AI, fintech, and crypto should be aware of our work, and our Twitter is just @UV, 2 letters. You can't mess up. And once again, I'm Justin Bebis. My socials are on the screen, and my team is building the infrastructure for autonomous markets. So please reach out if you'd like to talk about it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Justin, and thank you for rounding us out with an awesome presentation and bringing the energy. A few questions for you to round things out. First, just a question around how savvy do you recommend your users be with kind of trading and or DeFi to be able to leverage the platform?
Sure, yeah. So we serve everybody from beginner to professional, and everybody uses our harness a little bit differently. And we find that the process, and some of you might have experienced this with Claude Code, but the process of using the harness and the tools that we create and that our clients will create in the future will teach you how to be a good trader. And it will teach you emotional discipline, and you will kind of see results that you won't get shivering in front of the Hyperliquid interface. So yeah, we serve a lot of people.
Awesome. And then one more, just what is your growth strategy to becoming the standard AI trading infrastructure for the broader kind of brokerage and wallet market?
Yeah, totally. So, we are a very unique company in that we've had 4 years to iterate in production in real markets. And that's something that you can't really vibe code, that iteration, that user feedback. And so we're in a very unique position where we do have the best technology in the segment, and that's not really a superlative. And so, what we're doing is we're working on novel research to take the big brokers and wallets that are already in our pipeline and show them, hey, this is why your solution is failing to convert users. This is why your solution is failing to get users automating and increasing their lifetime value. And then beyond that research, we're creating tools that really let them touch the problem. Because this is a very nascent space, you really need to show people, tell people, give people the tools to understand how valuable it really is.
Awesome. Well, with that, again, thank you for rounding things out, and I'm gonna hand it back over to Stephen to close us out. But you had a couple of last minute questions that just came in as soon as I stopped speaking, so you can maybe answer those in chat as we hand it over to Stephen. But thank you, Justin, again.
Of course.
Okay, thank you, Jason. If you want to throw me in the spotlight, there I am. All right, thanks everyone for being here today. That is all, folks. On behalf of blockchain builders and Zero Gravity, I want to extend a huge congrats to the Apollo teams. We've all been blown away by the raw talent, the insane ambition, and also the progress made during the last 9 or so weeks. Also noteworthy, this group has been incredibly cool with one another. There's been a really good community vibe amongst the teams, supporting each other as founders. So it's been really special for us, and to the teams. Thank you so much. It would be literally nothing without you all. Also, thank you to the demo day attendees. As a reminder, if you want to get in touch with teams, we have shared, there's a bunch of ways to do it. Many have shared their contact details. In addition, there's a Google form you can fill out, and we will collate those and pass those along. I also want to flag that the Apollo teams, as well as the Zero G team and Blockchain Builders Fund, will all be in Palo Alto and hosting a big event, BAS, on July 30th. I've shared the link in the chat as well. Please register and come hang out with us there. And then finally, a huge thank you to our partners and who've helped run this accelerator. Google is a core partner providing a lot of compute to these teams. Privy, QuickNode, Certic, Octane, OpenAI, and Fenwick. And that's it. That's a wrap. Thanks again, everyone. A really good show. And we'll see you around. Cheers.
See you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for G.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you all.
Thanks all.
See
Take
you
care.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.